Do you ever have those seasons of life where life is just lifing? Like there's no other way to put it. It feels like every time you're making like steps forward, you just get hit and you go like 20 steps backward. I just feel like everything has just been so chaotic and nonstop for the last several weeks. So I wanted to do a little chit chat video, talk about what all is going on and just kind of like hang out with you guys. Let me know down in the comments what's going on in your life right now. Is there things you're looking forward to, things that you're facing, anything that I can be praying for? I just would absolutely love to know. So leave me a comment down below. I've been a little MIA from this channel, which is kind of frustrating me because at the beginning of the year, I sat down and I literally planned out my entire year of content. I was so excited to jump into YouTube and make all these videos, do all these things, and then life started to life. In the middle of January, my whole family got hit super hard with the flu, which meant that everything kind of got like put on pause. Both of my kids got hit with it. It turned into pneumonia for one kiddo and an ear infection for the other, so they were both on antibiotics. And then on February 1st, I thought that we were like finally getting out of the clear. I was like, okay, we're all starting to do a little bit better. At least I thought. I was working on my weight loss. I think I lost like 7 or 8 pounds in the month of January. It was starting to get warmer outside. I felt like I was kind of like getting in the flow with working from home. My son was in daycare. And so I just felt like things were going pretty good in life. And then suddenly my daughter started having some symptoms that were just extremely concerning. And I thought that it was just like side effects from her being on an antibiotic. So I took her to the emergency room and they took us back immediately to check her out. We had to do all these different kinds of testing and imaging. And it turned out that she's dealing with like some much bigger medical problem and they ended up admitting us into the hospital. And I'm not going to really go into the full details of what she's dealing with, but what she is dealing with is extremely rare for how old she is. Like most people don't deal with this until they're in like their 50s or 60s, and she was 5 months old at the time. We were in the hospital for about like 5 days. We had to do labs like all the time and they were doing more imaging and tests, and they ended up trying to do a procedure on her to kind of remedy the situation, but unfortunately she's just like too small because obviously she's a baby. But when they were using the equipment, it was unsuccessful and it actually couldn't reach the area that they were trying to get to inside of her. Thankfully, she did start improving in the hospital even though she didn't have the procedure because she was on IV fluids and her appetite was coming back. So we did get discharged from the hospital, but we've had several appointments with a surgeon and some other specialists, and we even have some other appointments that are still yet to happen. And we're just trying to still kind of figure out what has caused everything that she's been dealing with and trying to figure out the best way to treat that, whether that's surgery or treatment or just see if it eventually resolves on its own. Obviously, once all the information is in and the doctors can kind of like put their heads together, we'll know the best way to move forward and what she's actually needing. So because of that hospital stay at the beginning of the month, everything just kind of seemed to go downhill from there. I just felt so stressed and I was behind on work, so it took me a hot minute to kind of like catch up to speed. My daughter Emerson was still dealing with recovery. It definitely messed up her sleep schedule, which her sleep has not been super great, which is a topic in just another second. I definitely slacked off on like doing any workouts or things like that. And then a couple weeks went by, my son got a stomach bug and that was a whole ordeal. Like his room reeked of vomit for the whole entire weekend and it was just horrible. And he also had to miss out on a little bit of daycare because of that. And then at the very end of the month, she just was not acting like herself. She was like lethargic and seemed limp. She started running a fever and was having diarrhea. I took her to the ER. She threw up on the way to the ER and we ended up getting admitted because she was severely dehydrated, which that really scared me because she's exclusively breastfed. And the day before, she acted completely like herself. She was eating fine, sleeping fine. Her behavior was normal, but she immediately got dehydrated once she came down with what they're assuming was just a stomach bug. And so they're assuming that she got a stomach bug or whatever virus that my son had, but it dehydrated her so quickly. And really our pediatrician just feels like it's because of her medical condition. She hadn't fully recovered because it only been a couple weeks since she had been out of the hospital. So basically like her tank or reserves was at like 50% capacity or something like that. By the time she got sick, she just was super depleted super quickly. So we were in the hospital again for 2 days. She was hooked up to IV fluids and thankfully she started doing a lot better. Her labs looked a lot better. She got hydrated again and we were discharged from the hospital at the beginning of March. So truly January and February in terms of the health and wellness of our family was a crap show, and it was so stressful, especially because there's no resolution to my daughter's medical situation right now. We're still just kind of like at a standstill with figuring out how to take care of her. She's now on a daily medication that she has to take twice a day, and we really don't know like like, is she gonna need surgery? Is she gonna need other procedures? Like, it's all just very, very scary. Thankfully, she is like doing okay. Like, I would say she's basically at her baseline. She's happy, she's healthy, she's growing, and really we're just like monitoring her and making sure that like no new symptoms come up that needs her to be seen by her doctors. I also figured I would plug like my little weight loss update in here because I have not really been keeping that a priority right now. I feel like just my mental health and like sanity has been my #1 priority over my physical health and my weight loss. For the month of February, I really wanted to focus on like my core and my posture and strengthening my pelvic floor after dealing with 2 pregnancies. And I really wanted to do this series of core strengthening videos that I did when I was postpartum the first time, and I wanted to do them every single day in the month of February. I did them one day. Yeah, I definitely failed on that, and I just was truly too stressed out. I was in survival mode and I did not do any workouts, and it definitely, everything my family was dealing with truly affected the way that I was able to show up for myself. Some wins I'll say is I didn't gain any weight. I basically just maintained my weight, which was good because I definitely kind of felt like I was stress eating. I can struggle with binge eating or overeating, especially when I'm dealing with like super heavy emotions. So I am glad that even though I felt like I wasn't eating the best, my weight didn't actually change at all over the course of February. I also ran 2 miles in February, which sounds so minor, but I do not go on runs. I'm not a runner at all. I went on a 1-mile run, and then a couple days later I went on another 1-mile run. So I'm just proud of myself for doing that. I had purchased myself some Hokas back in the fall because I was like, I'm gonna get into walking again, because that was how I lost a bunch of weight after I had my son. And then I was like, but I also want to start running, so I got Hokas that I could walk or run in. Have yet to run in them until a couple weeks ago, so I'm just proud that I actually ran 2 miles. So there really was like no change in my weight, which I expected to happen at some point, but I didn't expect it to happen because I wasn't able to like prioritize my weight loss. But I'm just glad that I focused on my mental health and was prioritizing like what mattered the most. If I was like still forcing myself to like, you gotta lose weight, you gotta show up or eat better, or do all these exercises, like that's not a healthy mindset at all either. Like, it's okay to take breaks when your body needs a break, when your mind needs a break, when your family needs you to take the break. It is okay for your wellness and weight loss journey to take a backseat when there's bigger pressing things happening in your life. So I am focusing on my weight loss stuff again for the month of March. I'm kind of just like slowly doing things. Like, really, I don't have a set goal for this month. My goal was gonna be 10,000 steps a day, but honestly, I'm just like trying to focus on, I'm still kind of like in survival mode since we were at the hospital still in the beginning of the month, and I'm just trying to give myself grace. And really, I'm just trying to figure out like routines that can allow me to have time to work out, to have time for self-care, to focus on hydration, focus on eating well. Like, I don't have one specific, like I'm diving all in doing this specific exercise or this specific type of movement. I'm just trying to figure out rhythms and routine for this month. Another big change is that my son started his Mother's Day Out program at the beginning of January, which I filmed a whole video about that. But honestly, the place that he was at just was not working for our family. And there's a whole like list of reasons for that. But the biggest ones were the fact that my daughter is now dealing with her medical issues. And so his daycare was like out of the way of our home and where she has to go for all of her appointments. So it just like added more time to our day to drop him off and then pick him up. And it just like made it harder for our schedule in general. But also the place that he was at, I just didn't feel like was developmentally the best for him. It just felt like they were putting kids in front of a TV. There wasn't a lot of structure to things. I just didn't feel like they were like investing in him and investing in his development and his education, you know, whether that was through curriculum or through arts and crafts or through play or reading, or I don't know, it just, the way he was acting at home and how he just didn't seem that interested in going really made me feel like it wasn't the best place for him. And by no means do I think that the daycare he was at was bad or anything like that. They were super nice. They always said hi to him and said bye to him and stuff like that. I just feel like I was paying like for a babysitter or just like somebody to supervise my child rather than somebody to like teach my child. So we actually ended up switching him to a new daycare. It is like more like a school, their structure, their schedule. And he's only been in there 1 week and he is thriving. Like, he absolutely loves it. I love it. I love his teacher. She's super nice, intentional, gets down down like on the kids' level, dancing with them, having fun with them. No TVs in sight. They do a lot of play. Every single day when I pick him up, he comes home with like a new craft and he's like excited to go. Like he's to the point where when I picked him up today, he started crying when I picked him up because I could see him in the room and he was like running around. They were playing music, so he was like running around and smiling and laughing, going down the slide. He was having so much fun. He did not want to go home, which I think is absolutely amazing. And I'm just so happy for him because it's like he has his own little world. And especially at this new daycare, they invest in the kids so much and they love them so much. And it just feels like it is such a good fit for him, especially for him to continue to meet all of like the milestones and develop the way he needs to. I think that also in the season, I've really been feeling a calling from the Lord to prioritize him more, to focus on him, but also to make him more like the center of our home. I feel like I haven't been doing a good job of stewarding my relationship with the Lord and modeling that for my children. So I'm trying to figure out ways that I can like bring Jesus into time, like with my baby and my toddler and into our home environment. I also really have been feeling like I need to focus on my quiet time more. So I've been trying to do it throughout the day, currently doing like a Bible study that I've really been enjoying. It's like taking you through the whole Bible and like all these different themes every single week, like the major themes you see in the Bible. And I've really enjoyed that. I'm also doing a Bible study through the Old Testament currently, but I really hope that my baby can start sleeping a little bit better at night because I really want to get back to waking up early in the morning. That's what I used to do with my son all the time. I would get up like about an hour or so before him and have so much time to myself in the morning and have quiet time and all this stuff, and it was super nice. I also feel this calling to like not listen to as much secular music. Now I'm not like one of those people where it's like you can't listen to anything except worship music or whatever like that, but I just know that our hearts can be so easily influenced by whatever we're consuming, whether that's social media or music. And so I'm really trying to limit my media usage right now. So trying not to have my screen time be as high as it's been on social media, but also choosing better music, especially like when I'm in the car and my kids are in the car. We've been listening to a lot of like Forrest Frank, fun, happy, upbeat songs that are about Jesus. And truly when I listen to worship music or just like Christian music in general, my mood feels so much better than when I'm like listening to like my sad girl playlists and all that stuff that I normally would listen to. So I truly feel like I've been noticing like a little bit of a shift now that I am trying to bring Jesus more into everything that I'm doing throughout the day and more into my time with my kids. And an update on baby sleep, that I've not given an update on my daughter sleeping since like my original postpartum chit chat update, but we are like kind of on the struggle bus, especially after both of these hospitalizations. I feel like we've had like a little bit of a regression, which like in the hospital, she's been like contact sleeping on us because she did not want to sleep in the crib at the hospital, which I don't blame her. It's bright, it's loud, you got IV stuck in you, it's not comfortable. I get it. Since she was about 3 months old, she has false starts every single night. And if you don't know what that is, it's where your baby wakes up about 30 minutes to sometimes like up to an hour, but it's typically like 30 to 45 minutes after they go to bed. She does it 30 minutes on the dot. I could literally set a timer for 30 minutes and she will wake up at 30 minutes on the dot. Now I will say, now that she's 6 months old, sometimes like her false starts happen at about the 40-minute mark. And there have been a couple rare nights where she's had no false start at all. But sometimes when she has a false start, I can get her back to sleep pretty quickly. I'm trying not to feed her back to sleep when she does that anymore. Trying to like pat her booty in the crib, give her a little bit of crib help instead. But some nights the false starts are so bad, she'll go to sleep for like 5 or 10 minutes and then be back up again and then crying, and then like the cycle like repeats itself until it's 10 o'clock at night and she finally passes out, and then she will wake up several more times throughout the night. On the nights when things are really good and she only has one false start and stays asleep, or she has no false start at all, she only will wake up one time throughout the night, which is a huge blessing. And I'm trying to figure out how to make the nights always look like that. We are really struggling with false starts. I don't know what to do. She falls asleep independently for naps and bedtime. She knows how to sleep. It's more so like linking that first sleep cycle is a huge struggle for her. I've tried lengthening wake windows, shortening them, capping naps, letting her sleep as long as she wants. I cannot crack the code on like what to do to make this stop. And to be quite honest, it's getting a little bit tiring because it's like constantly not having time to myself at night. That means like from the moment I wake up to the moment I finally go to sleep, I'm helping one of my kids, or I'm working full time, or I'm doing something to take care of the home. Like never truly feeling like I have time to myself is a huge struggle right now. And my son's sleep was never like this as a baby. Obviously I don't want to compare the two of them. I just don't know how to handle this, is more so like what frustrates me, because my son never experienced this. So I don't know what to do to get the false starts to stop. I don't know if there's anything I can do or if it's just something we have to write out. I have no idea. And I guess one of the last updates that I'll give is kind of in terms of finance and like what our financial situation currently looks like. If you've been following me for a hot minute, you know that right now we're living with my parents, and we moved in with them last summer after we sold our home. And the goal was for us to live here for about a year to 18 months, and then buy another home with all the money that we saved while living here. But we've had obviously the hospitalization come up, and we have not even gotten any bills for the second one yet, and I'm truly like terrified to get any bills. But we definitely are like getting a little bit set back on our goal because of that. And I'm also not really making a lot of money on social media right now because I have not been focusing on social media, mainly because of all the sicknesses and craziness going on with my family, but also because I started a new job back in December, and I still am like really trying to figure out how to do the role, learn everything that I need to learn, and it is taking a lot of my free time, especially when the kids are sleeping or doing independent play. So I really have not had a lot of time for social media. So financially right now, we are looking at hopefully purchasing a home sometime heading into the fall. It's likely going to be like an August, September kind of a timeline. We were really hoping to hit it more so like in May or June, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen. But we do really want to be able to have like our own space for our family. So hopefully at some point this year, we're able to purchase a home. I am definitely looking at ways that I can make more income on social media. My goal is to get monetized here on YouTube, and that's a goal that I've had since I started posting long form content. I do also do a lot on TikTok, so I'm trying to figure out if I want to go more like content creator on TikTok or TikTok shop. I actually made some pretty good money on TikTok shop, especially around Black Friday last year, and that was like super great. However, that's not something I'm like passionate about. I don't want to do all these like TikTok shop videos every single day. I'm just trying to figure that out. But I also am very, very interested in UGC. There's so much opportunity to make money in UGC, and I've done a couple things like through some apps, which has been super cool, but I've not really like deep dived into it, mainly because I don't have the time. Obviously also because we're like trying to save money and we're on a super tight budget. I don't want to spend money on a course, but there is part of me that's like, should I just like take the dive and buy the course so that I can like learn how to make money quicker and like reap my money back? I don't know if I'm at that point yet. I'm trying to decide if I want to buy a course or if I just want to like teach myself everything. I don't know which way I want to go. Those are all the updates that I have to share, where I'm at, where my head's at, where my family's at, because there's just been a lot going on the past several weeks. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching, and you are supporting me on my journey of getting monetized here on YouTube. It would mean the absolute world to me if you would check out one of these two videos and let me know down in the comments what's going on in your life. If there's anything I can pray for you for, please, please, please let me know, and I'll see you in the next